Okay.
Nancy Robert, established book author, writer, facilitator, and patent holder interested in advancing the capabilities of individuals and organizations in the new use of technologies to advance healthcare delivery. Nancy is an award-winning product innovator and a senior executive experienced in strategic planning, marketing, and the development and implementation of digital project products and services. Nancy serves as the chair of the Madison CT Ethics Commission, is a member of the South New Hampshire University Nursing Advisory Board. She is recipient of the Chief Learning Officer Media Innovation Award and the University of Cincinnati Distinguished Alumni Award. Dr. Robert is a patent holder for the system and method assembling and analyzing a candidate application for credential, and is a contributor to the peer-reviewed journals and publications in the areas of artificial intelligence, big data, and leadership. Nancy currently resides in Connecticut with her husband and is a former UC alumni. So we're really excited to have UC alumni presenting with us today as well for all of our folks who are on. I think most people on today, 95% are going to be UC alumni as well. So thank you so much, Nancy, and the floor is yours.
Okay, well, thank you, Gage, and sorry for the delay here, but this is one of my concerns on the perils of technology as we go through this. So today, I hope you leave here just understanding about 3 characteristics of what makes up AI, some of the innovations that are currently being used, and some of the potential barriers and risks in the use of AI applications. So as you see how quickly this screen is changing, they estimate that about every 4 minutes around the world, someone is inventing something related to AI. So the question you have to ask yourself as we're going through this is what's coming next and how do I prepare for it? As an example, we could not have prepared for COVID-19. And when COVID-19 hit, the technology infrastructure changed, almost like we blinked and overnight. Prior to 2019, telemedicine, for instance, was not a very popular application. Less than 20% of the public really wanted to use it. Fast forward to today, current research says somewhere between 50 to 60% of people would like to continue to use telemedicine. So a black swan event like COVID-19 forced us to change. That's the same thing that's really happening with AI technology. So what is AI? There's a lot of discussion about what it is. So let me say right off, there is not a universal definition. You can read many, many definitions. They have consistent characteristics, but they are not all the same. The one I like to use that is what I call plain English is from the Wall Street Journal reporter, Sarah Costanelis. She says AI encompasses the techniques used to teach computers to learn, to reason, perceive, infer, communicate, and make decisions similar to or better than humans. That's the simplest for me, but what I like to say is artificial intelligence is a bundle of technology. So what you see on here, like robots and blockchain and chatbot and machine learning, those are all different types of technologies making up artificial intelligence. One thing you will hear consistently, though, is artificial intelligence, narrow intelligence versus artificial intelligence, general intelligence. Those seem to be pretty consistent. Narrow intelligence means I have created an AI system for a specific problem or application. General intelligence is what they are seeking, where it says, gee, a general AI system could reason and do the same things that we as humans do with our mind. We can take in a lot of different information and then we can process it and come out with a logical solution. It doesn't have to be for a specific task. Today, the closest thing that you will hear talk about are the large language models or ChatGPT, 4, Bard, Google's Bard, etc. But I need to caution you, those really are not artificial general intelligence. They share some of the characteristics, but they really are still only mathematical algorithms that are spewing back data to us in a different way. So the world of artificial intelligence is a bundle of stuff. The most common things you hear about are machine learning and deep learning. And the difference between machine learning and deep learning is one, machine learning tends to be towards a particular application or problem-solving outcome. Deep learning is more general. Deep learning, you would say, is a large language model like ChatGPT. Deep learning encompasses things like radiographic, graphic determinations. Machine learning is more associated with something, say, as an intelligent dashboard that you might come into contact with as you're practicing medicine. So the ultimate goal, though, is to make AI objects or applications more towards the capabilities of a deep learning system in the future, but we're not there yet today. One other thing I want you to be aware of. So a lot of health systems have, quote, dashboards. They've been using them for over a decade, graphical interfaces that showcase data. Not all dashboards are AI, artificial intelligence capable. The traditional business intelligence dashboard started with a description of something that happened. You take data in that's from your organization or geographic location. It processes the data and it comes out with some sort of insight. These are all standard statistical measures that were used in the dashboard to produce graphics. Now along comes machine learning, quote, one of the rungs, simpler rungs, if you will, of AI technology. So that allowed more sophisticated processing to happen on the dashboard where you could get better predictive capabilities and even some prescriptions. It found things that the old traditional BI dashboards didn't. You're seeing a blurring of lines when people talk about your intelligent dashboard. So just be aware. You have to ask whoever is training you on the dashboard where the data is coming from and how the data is being processed. It's not that you need to be a statistical engineer or a technical engineer. What you need to understand is what kind of tool you are using, and there are differences between the two. So the world of AI, what's going on? Well, in 2023, it's estimated that globally about $111 billion was spent on the investments, venture capital investments in the production of AI applications, hardware, software, technology applications. It is predicted that by 2028, we will approach close to $1 trillion worth of AI activity. And so you have to ask yourself, well, gee, what is driving all this? Well, first of all, around 2016 to 2018 timeframe, the US did an assessment, technology assessment, and said, wow, we are falling well behind China and some other nations in just how we are approaching AI and some of the technologies behind it. So then in February of 2019, you saw President Trump, he did an executive order organizing the federal government saying you have to start rolling out more strategic and tactical plans for the use of AI technologies. By August of 2022, President Biden had an initiative called the CHIPS and Science Act of 2022, where the U.S. actually is investing about $280 billion over 10 years in the production of next generation chips, the production of new applications and uses for AI. Why'd they do it? Because they did not want to fall behind China. Today, China holds the most patents on AI technologies. And when that came to light, the US was very concerned and wanted to keep up with AI growth. So you're seeing a lot of venture capital, a lot of government money, a lot of private money going into building AI apps and investments. So when you look here today, this is from a great site, if you're interested in this, the OECD.ai site, because it's real-time data that they collect from around the world about who is investing in AI. And you can look at this graph and you can see the US is far ahead of all the other areas combined. The spike in 2021 from 20 to 2021 really was driven a lot by the large language model discoveries and capabilities, the chip production, the computing power that was available. And with COVID and black swan events, you saw some drop off just in venture capital in general across every category. And now we're starting to see the climb again. So where were they investing? If you look at this graph, you look at the third box up, the sort of light shaded purple in healthcare, drugs, and biotech. You see that particular sector has been building over time. And it's estimated by the AOECD site that since 2012, almost 100 billion has been invested just in healthcare technology and biotech applications. When you look at this word chart, this is based from 2012 to 2023, all the data, global investments. You see that infrastructure, IT, and hosting, they've had a big boost in venture capital investments and government investments around the world in delivering and providing healthcare applications for AI. Software as a service, SaaS, has also grown because a lot of people, a lot of companies around the globe cannot afford the technology and platforms, nor do they have the expertise to manage them. So you're seeing a lot of movement and investments in software as a service where an organization or business can use the platforms as they exist. ChatGPT-3, when it rolled out, is an open platform system, is a perfect example of software as a service for general consumption use. But also note, look at the healthcare, drugs, and biotech. They're seeing that that is a pretty significant investment that's being made around the globe compared to all the other apps, and also mobile apps. And in mobile apps, you're seeing a lot of healthcare technology applications, such as for diabetes control, monitoring of fitness, etc. So what's the promise? Well, Bill Gates in his blog, a 2024 blog opening salvo for 2024, declared that AI is about to supercharge the innovation pipeline. And he believes one of the biggest innovations going forward in 2024 forward will be in drug discovery and development. PwC is a consulting firm, accounting and consulting firm, and one of their reports that they just produced is they predict by 2030 in the healthcare sector alone that for all the innovations that are going to happen, it's almost $16 trillion worth of gross domestic product value that will be generated by investing in AI. So where does that come from? When you look at the wheel, potential AI consumption impact means new products that are intelligent. So they rate that rather high on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being lowest, 5 being highest impact. You see it's almost a 4 there. And they think that new products that are intelligent by 2030 will contribute about $9 trillion worth of value to the global economy. The other ones on personalization and utility, those relate to what they call productivity increases. Those are increases about automating different products and services, assisted, augmented support for labor, the way we work and do things, that will contribute another almost 7 trillion, close to $7 trillion worth of value to the US economy. And this is only these are only the numbers related to healthcare. So what's going on? We said we see there's a lot of investment in healthcare, drugs, and platforms. So what is being invested? Well, just some recent examples. Today, you open up the paper, they used AI to figure out a new way to create batteries. Lithium is a shortage element across the globe, and someone used an AI platform, a research team, to try and come up with a new compound to create batteries. Why are batteries important? Because they're driving everything for digital technology. So it's a very important finding. Scientists at MIT and Harvard just in December 2023, they announced a new class of antibiotics. You know, we have antibiotic resistance around the globe that is pretty significant, causing about 1.3 million deaths per year in 2019 alone. So the use of AI to create a new class of antibiotics can be pretty significant. There are brain decoding advancements that look at how the brain works to decode language. Why is that important? Well, that research that has been quite successful using AI might be used to develop and restore communications to people who've lost the ability to write and speak. There is a new hypersight imaging solution that quite literally just in January, first week of January, was rolled out in Pennsylvania hospital that targets radiography for cancer solutions, radiology scanning, and research on using that to mitigate cancer. That literally was just used on the first patient, and it has hyper algorithms that really detail exactly where the cancer molecules are. It's new. There is a new application for facial aging clock. How could that be used? Well, the research says, gee, if we understand how we age and the face has certain characteristics that we can decompose, we might better understand the process of aging and come up with new applications. Diction and synthesis of medical notes and any kind of physical lab product notes, nurses' notes, etc., has been around for over a decade, but now it's going on hyperdrive with the new advancements in AI technology. So there's a lot going on that's going to change our world rather quickly. What's driving some of this? Well, in the promise, well, the 5G networks, which is the speed of a network, we now today with 5 GB networks, in less than 1 millisecond, we can hit a button and get a response. That makes a difference in how we use technologies. They're working on 6G technology that they think by 2030 will roll out, and that it minimally will double the response time that you have in terms of using assets and digital technology to get a response. You'll hit a button in less than a millisecond, maybe half of a millisecond, you'll be able to get a response. That's needed in order to keep up with the size files and digital technologies that are rolling out. You see to your left the look, 2 thumbs there, and that is an example of some of the delivery of new medications, that these smart skins is what they call them, to deliver medications, and then they're monitored by your digital tools. Could be your smartwatch, can be a computer. Smartwatches themselves, every 6 months, I think, they're rolling out new capabilities and fighting over global patents about who owns what, but smartwatches are taking in more capacities where data is going to be driven from that. The pill that you see there, in March of 2023, the FDA approved a smart pill that actually, one of those pills carries the ability to collect information as it goes down your GI tract and to monitor how the medication is being released in the GI tract. So it's called smart pill technology. The Rex AI is a technology that is just one example of, there are thousands, quite literally, of fitness and health apps that are incorporating AI. Spirit Me is just, and now it's hundreds of technologies today about converting text to video using AI capabilities. The metaverse there, we're seeing first week of January, Apple's rolling out its new smart goggles. They launched them. It was about 2016 to 2018. They did not go so well. It's a whole new world that they're trying to bring to you if you put on goggles, about the way you educate yourself, the way you see things in the world. They're trying to incorporate better digital technology for vision itself, but also the sense of smell and the way information is presented. Google and Microsoft, they're all rolling out their new headsets in 2024. The picture to the right I created with Dolly, which is now part of Chat GPT. If you use that, I did it for Chat GPT 3 version, so it was from the 2022 version. I asked the system, I typed in and said, I asked the system to create a picture using impressionist type of artwork of a physician and a nurse. Now you'll look at that and say, wow, yeah, it's pretty close. They did do a physician and a nurse. However, also notice some of the bias that could be present in that the database, the nurse is a white female, the doctor is a white male. Looking at statistics today about who works in the fields, in particular for physicians or any other type of worker, that's not the way the world works, but the database is producing something fed by data prior to 2022, and who knows where the data came from. So that's something we'll talk about in a minute, but it's just to be aware of when you're using these tools, where the data is coming from. So let's take a look. I want to bring you up to date a little bit about robotics. Oop. Let's see if we can get this to play. Well, I'll go back. Well, it will not play. Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's see. Well, I can't get this to play, but I will send the link to this. This is about Atlas, a robot, and it shows you just how far advanced robotic technology can go. It or has gone. It is the question is, with the robots being able to have the facility to jump, leap, pick up, put down in very fine details, what's going to happen? Will the robots become patient caregivers? Is that possible? If the robots incorporate elements of the equivalent of learning language models like ChatGPT, where they can reason, they can give you information back, will that support the changeover of workforce, the way a workforce works? The robots now also are getting a sense of smell in their vision. It's also smell and auditory. How will that change the way robots are deployed and they work in any environment? Robots today are in some hospital systems, but they're more used as trackers or carriers of supplies, getting things, putting things on shelves. Some of them do help with medical administration. Some of them do go in and take vital signs, but that's not the norm. The most common thing right now is in what I call supplies delivery and finding things. So the impact to healthcare. Well, first of all, radiology and visuals, large graphics are going to take off even further because the processing power and ability to see things in finite detail will become even more pronounced. The growth in things like smart shoes that could charge your phone while you're walking. Smart shoes today are being tested with athletes where they put cushions in their shoes, and it literally, as the athlete is running real time, it's adjusting the pitch of their foot so they can get better performance. There are smart shirts, anything as simple as, gee, give me directions to, I'm walking to point A to point B, or I'm going point A to point B, all the way through smart shirts that take your vital signs. Where will that go? There is a company called AI Silk that was experimenting literally with silk and embedding sensors in the silk as a product that could be used to create clothes. They have experiments with contact lenses, and Google actually was very involved in this over 5 years ago for ophthalmology that double up as your personal assistant. So you're thinking about, so the brain research that they're doing and the use of AI, you're thinking about something. Could your contact lenses then present to you, be like a personal assistant saying, hey, wait a minute. So that's something that you need to think about. The microchips in nail polish, they have been experimenting with that. Buttons that track your steps. Apple actually has a patent on a smart button that they did about 2020, I think it was, where they put the patent. Earrings that will check your moods while you're wearing your earrings. There's a hand that came out in Nature in 2020 that literally the patent was applied for a wearable glove that translates sign language into speech. So you can potentially bring different groups of people and demographics together for patient care and education. And smell, they are experimenting a lot with smell because they see smell as an environmental issue. You have someone at home, you have someone in a location, and the smart system, whether it's a light, whether it's your glove, it does your clothes, that it could forewarn about smells in the environment. They're also looking at smells from a medical standpoint. Just as they say, animals can smell certain diseases, COVID-19, I know they train dogs on detecting a person with COVID. So could you use smell, the sense of smell, to detect new diseases that a person has or that might be exposed to? So all of that is going on right now. There's a new project that came out called, it's an AI life meter, where they claim it's in prototype that it can take certain data of people, input data from people, and it can predict with high accuracy the life of that particular person. AI is also being used in education, all different types of applications in education right now. They're testing different simulations. So AI is here, it's pervasive, it's not going away. The question is, will you know how to use it? That is the really important thing. So here is a question. Now, Gage, I'm not sure whether you, the way your system's set up, if you have to launch this, because I don't think I can launch it from my computer. This is poll
think
question
I
number
can
one.
launch it. I just launched the question.
Okay.
Is it being seen by everyone?
I can see it on my screen.
It also.
Okay. So we'll just give it a minute here.
Yeah, there's two questions. The second question's for an upcoming slide.
Yes,
So
it is. Yeah, this is just for this one. Yeah. So
I think
about
you might
widespread computer implants.
it looks like you might have to answer both though, Nancy, at the same
Okay.
time.
Okay. I should end the poll now. Have all people, do you think most people 10, 20?
There's
No, I
only
said,
10 out of 25 so far.
okay, I'll wait. I won't end the poll then. I'm afraid it will shut everybody off. So I'll wait until the poll's done.
Yeah, we'll wait about 1 minute, 30 seconds. That gives everybody about 30 more seconds to answer the question.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll.
And
Share results. So it looks like about, they think it's 30% think it's a good idea for society, 30% bad, and 40% not sure. So this compares to Pew Research results that were collected in 2022, late 2022. In that, only 13% of people thought it would be a good idea to get an implant into the brain to process information only. 56% thought it was a bad idea, and 31% were not sure, and 1% didn't respond at all. Now, this response, though, in this same survey, they asked the question a different way. They said, what if you were to use brain implants to help for a medical purpose? And with that, a large share of the respondents across America, 77%, thought that using implants to help someone say that is paralyzed, that might be able to do a brain implant, that was a good idea. So comparatively, at that same time frame, Neuralink, a company owned by Elon Musk, founded and owned by Elon Musk, it was doing research in 2022 about brain implants for the use of people with paralysis or very limited mobility. So those research trials are still going on. They got approval to actually implant into someone's brain one of the chips, and that research is ongoing. So we may see more invasive technologies in the future for all sorts of assisted things. For instance, you might have cochlear implants change computer technology for people with hearing disabilities, or people perhaps with speech disabilities, a different type of chip. People with ALS, they think that's a possibility if the chip implant notion would work. Okay. So what are the perils? What are the AI risks? Okay, I'm gonna. Well, the adoption barriers. as you all know, when you're working in healthcare systems, change is really hard. Peter Drucker, management consultant, had a theory of what he called purposeful abandonment, where organizations purposely eliminate certain things they do and then take on new things. Sounds easy, it's very hard to do. And particularly in this day and age with so many staffing shortages with resources within healthcare systems, it's hard to get people to change workflows and what they're doing. So they have to have a really good reason. You also have issues with cultural acceptance. You know, people, the consumer here that you see, are they accepting the changes that come about? Do they accept the technology as is, or do they even trust it? There's the issue of robots. What's the role of a robot or a partner, if you will, in the life of a patient and in the life of a patient in healthcare? Is the data coming out of all of these things, does it have utility, and does this get easily integrated into workflow? If it doesn't, it's really going to be hard to get people to adopt. Also, does the organization where you work, where you're delivering healthcare, do they have standards about all of this, about how technology is going to be used? Not clear that everyone is up to speed on that. It's at varying levels of completion, and even the research says it's not sure about exactly what works best and what doesn't. We have some theories, but we don't know for sure, given the organization, the type of patient demographics and type of care, what's really going to work. Here's something you're going to be faced with. So dashboards, as I said, are pretty common across organizations. But the question is, will you have the numeracy skills and the context and the ability to know what data on this dashboard or a dashboard is really essential for your patients? And more importantly, are you going to be able to interpret what's on this dashboard and explain it to a patient, family, or another colleague? When you look at some of the things like, say, smartwatch, if a patient medical record, they're trying to integrate, Apple smartwatch technology, all the different watch technologies into EMRs. Well, okay, or your patient record, that may be good, but what if my smartwatch is not functioning correctly? What if I'm only wearing my smartwatch about 50% of the time? What if my smartwatch, went dead and I just stopped wearing it altogether? So the data that comes up on the dashboard from whatever source it's coming from, you need to be very clear about that data source for that data element, and then understand how that data was processed numerically in order to put the value on your dashboard. So that means skills for people working in any healthcare profession on numeracy and adaptability of the dashboards really need to be fine-tuned. So how will you know that the data is reliable? You got to have skills to be able to ask the right questions about data reliability and where it came from. So the team grid here is from the United Nations, and I use this because that circle of teamwork, specialist knowledge, etc., really highlights in every one of those buckets of skills and knowledge, you're going to need to be updated in order to integrate AI or AI applications into it. And in particular, the statistical IT skills. It's not that you're going to become a statistician or that you're going to become an IT specialist. What it is, you're going to have to learn what questions you need to ask in order to understand that statistical outputs and how the new app or program was designed. There is a big body of research out of nursing and out of physicians and residency programs that all those professions really need to be involved in creating these new products, services, and outputs. That has not been the norm. What's happened is, you have technical, statistical data people creating these applications, and then they kind of throw them over the wall. They say, here, tell me if this works. You get a little bit of input, and then voila, it's, running on the caretaker floor. Perfect example is all the alarm bells that kept going off on all different types of equipment. And it got really, really severe that people started turning off the alarms because you were dinging all over the place, all for different applications, and it became ineffective. Well, any AI app can become ineffective if it is not rolled out and designed correctly. And that's where you as a practitioner need to be involved and understand the basics of what that application is and how it's being used. So the question is, in your organization or your workplace, how will you be prepared by that organization or your own self-directed learning activities for the new digital onslaught? It's still undecided how that's all going to work. So here is poll 2. How would you feel if your healthcare provider relied on AI to do things like diagnose disease and recommend treatments for your medical care? So Gage, can you launch that poll, please?
As Gary said, I just shared it again and launched it, but most of the people answered last time, I believe, and you should be able to see the results there now.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing the second question. I'm not sure what you're looking at on your screen, but I see the second question here.
So would you like me to read the results? I clicked the share results button, but I don't know if it shared correctly. That's all.
Okay, yes. Would you read the results, please?
Yeah, so to the question, thinking about the use of AI in health and medicine to do things like diagnose disease and recommend treatments, how would you feel if healthcare providers relied on AI to do things like diagnose disease and recommend treatment for your medical care? So we had 16 out of 20, it looks like, answer this question here. And 2 people said very comfortable. 11 said somewhat comfortable. 3 said somewhat uncomfortable. And 0 out of 16 said very uncomfortable.
Okay, okay. Well, again, this is Pew from December 2022 when they ran the survey. 7% of people said very comfortable. 32% said somewhat comfortable, but overwhelming, more than 50% said somewhat uncomfortable or very uncomfortable, that they did not want their medical treatments to be diagnosed by an AI system. Now, and one of their key worries was that 75% of the people who took the survey said they thought that medical personnel would move too quickly, that they really wouldn't understand all the nuances behind the AI output, and therefore it might be wrong, or it might have some gaps in the information that was needed. But interestingly, respondents, when asked about using AI to do skin cancer screening, over 65% said yes, they thought that that they would trust, and that would be a good use for AI applications in helping to diagnose healthcare. They still wanted to be discussed with a person, not an AI system. So they wanted their care delivered by a person, but they would accept some of the data out of a AI system for cancer screening. What they didn't want, interestingly enough, is to have the AI system do mental health, that they did not want to be screened by an AI system on mental health. And that's in opposition. There's almost, in 2022, there was almost $5 billion going into developing AI systems for mental health. Mental health is a really big area of research right now in investments, but yet in this poll in December 2022, people said, gee, I don't want to be using or talking to an AI system on my mental health. Now, the research on mental health and using just systems, whether they're AI or any other system, is mixed. Some studies have said, oh yeah, people respond better to kind of this black box that they can talk to. Other research studies said, gee, I'm not comfortable with that at all, and I want a real person talking to me. The question is here, if someone uses an AI system to start treatment, or maybe have a hybrid treatment person plus this AI system, where do the legal responsibilities lie? That's still unknown. It's still untested in any courts, but there is a question. If I use an AI system, AI app only, AI generated app on any kind of disease, who is legally liable? So we get to the trust issue on AI. What will it take for you to trust AI? Well, there are four big areas related to this. There's ethics, there's bias, there's trust itself, and then the legality issue that I just mentioned. There in October of 2022, the Biden administration launched what they call an AI Bill of Rights. So that was the first shot over the bow to say, gee, we're going to start focusing on all the issues related to AI. And in that, there were 5 core protections that were offered in his AI Bill of Rights that were about safe and effective systems, algorithmic discrimination protections, data privacy, notice and explanation of what you're looking at, and alternative options. Concurrently, Stanford University reported on some of the activities at a state level. States like Colorado, DC, and California were passing state-regulated AI activities.
Good morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Families refinance their homes.
So let's take a look at this minute.
To help families refinance their homes, to invest in things like high-tech manufacturing, clean energy, and the infrastructure that creates good new jobs.
AI.
See, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele.
It's sort of learning to recreate that person's face by looking at the thousands of images over and over and over. Like a lot more research than you would think would go into making a goofy video or something like that.
Truly surprising to me. Yeah, I was just really surprised.
I didn't do any after touching on that video. That was just using the technology that was available from the machine learning side.
You don't even have to know what GitHub is. You don't have to know how to program in Python. None of that matters. You pay somebody $20 and they'll create the fake for you. That's a bit of a game changer.
So what I want to bring up is that there has been a lot of work on fakes and explainable AI. DARPA government agencies did a 5-year project trying to figure out how to get AI systems to reveal how they're processing information, what they're processing, and what the outputs are, so people are aware of what they're looking at. I hate to say this, or tell you this, but their results after a 5-year research study said, gee, that AI applications and opportunities are so varied that there isn't any one thing that is going to, quote, create explainable AI. So what you have now in the marketplace are a lot of people working on algorithms for detection of fakes that we just saw. And that video was from 2020, and the technology has accelerated at a much faster pace. So I don't even think it would take 20 minutes to create all that video stream that you just saw there with the deep fake with the own words that you wanted to put in some people's mouths. So the technology's advanced. The groups around the world are working on trying to do algorithmic models that will detect fakes. But right now it's kind of the Wild West out there. There are some things that work, some things don't. Bias is another thing that we know globally is a big issue. Here is just one of many. There literally are thousands of efforts around the globe looking at how to track and mitigate bias. So there isn't any one right answer, but this just gives you some idea of when people say I have a bias model that I'm using or formula process, these are just some of the elements that they would be talking about the data collection process, pre-processing of how you get the data prepared, how you validate the models, and then how you implement it. The FDA, just the plan updates since 2017, it's been trying to get its hands around what is clinical decision support software. Is it a device or not? Does it have AI on it? You can see this is the 2020 plan update. It's very complicated. So what they did was they created a navigator tool that will take you through steps to say, gee, does this AI application fall under FDA parameters? So these are just the type of questions that are asked in that tool to give someone who's created an AI app a direction. Do I need to get FDA approval or not for my application? The kind of advice that comes back out of this particular tool looks like this. There are many tools like this out there that focus on, gee, what is the purpose and how do I validate a particular AI app or output?
I would like to offer a recommendation. Please click on the waiting room tab. I recommend moving patient K to room R4 and for nurse Misty to be the primary nurse. Would you like to accept or reject this recommendation?
I'll accept it.
So what does that mean when you accept recommendations from an AI system? It could be that robot, it could be any type of AI system. I just want to bring to light professional standards in nursing, both the ICN standard and the ANA Code of Ethics standard. Both are very clear that the responsibility for the actions you take as a nurse, and this also applies, the medical profession has it, every profession has standards similar to these, that you are accountable for the results. Even if the robot said, yes, do this, you do it, you really need to use your own judgment because you are the one liable for the outcomes. That's a big part of contention. What happens when there's no human intervention and an AI system is giving directions to somebody in patient healthcare? Well, that's untested in courts today. So we don't know if a manufacturer of that system would be held liable or if it would still go back to the person or practitioners that were involved in the healthcare decision. So there are many things going on in AI, and I just want to make clear that your world is going to look like this. This is how with the AVR goggles, when you're educating, when you're being trained, when you're training other people, computer technology and robotic technology, all going to be part of the workplace that you're in, if not already. And what you have to do is prepare yourself with new skills and new competencies to be able to take all this in. Politics, I just want to mention, 2023 was a busy year. President Biden in October passed the executive order on safe, secure, and trustworthy AI. It has many kind of standards in it that will drive other legal statutes that will be developed by Congress. Congress took congressional actions, and as you can see, they had a lot of committee work in 2023. They're trying to understand what AI is. Big companies stood up and said, gee, we're going to pledge to make AI safe. How that will work, it's still unknown, but it should follow some of the guidelines on the executive order. House and Senate passed this law in October 2023 called the Artificial Intelligence Advancement Act, where the law requires the development of a report on artificial intelligence regulation across many different areas of U.S. activities like finance, healthcare, chip technology, etc. So we'll wait to see when that report comes out, but the law did get passed. The EU has been very proactive. They had an EU safety summit in summer, and they also the EU Parliament passed the EU AI Act, which is one of the first things over the bow to actually pass Parliament that will regulate some of AI. Their goal really is in that whole legislation to really have transparency. They're not saying what to make, how to make it, but they have a ranking system that they created, and they want to make sure that it's transparent to end users what they're using. So why is it difficult to understand or harness AI? I thought this captured it pretty nicely. There is so much coming at you, and it's going to continue every day about all the uses of AI and the devices that are going to come out. Some of them really will be AI, others will not. They'll just hype them as AI. But there's so much that people really just can't absorb it all. So my recommendation to you as a healthcare worker is to go local, look at your own organization and get an understanding of what they're doing strategically, where they're headed with AI applications, tactically, how they're going to roll them out and become part of the solution to try and understand and embrace AI in the apps that are coming. And in parallel with that, skill yourself up in competencies to be able to understand what you're seeing. So I'll open it up. I know we're a little short of time, but I'll open it up to questions if people have any. So Gage, I cannot see on my screen anybody raising their hand. So could you let me know if there's a question, please?
Yeah, I don't see any yet here in the chat. Let me say, if there are any questions, we'd be happy to take them now.
Okay, well, at the Gage, I will send you post. I have put together a bunch of different resources for people that I will send you. I added some to these about where you might go look. People ask me, where do you get AI information from? And so I will send that to you because I think there's so much out there that in order for people to really know where to start, maybe having a reference list would be a good first place.
Yeah, I agree. That's perfect. Well, if there's no questions, Dr. Robert, did you have anything else?
I see one chat. Oh, okay. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, it's a big world out there for sure, Karen, and it's changing rapidly.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah, the reference list. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. One thing that is helpful are some newsletters that you might be interested in. Deloitte consulting firm, McKinsey consulting firm, they have great sections, just newsletter sections on that are very valuable and they're accurate. So that's the key thing. There's a lot of inaccurate information out there. There is a newsletter called Superhuman AI by Zon Khan. That's another one that it's just up-to-date, literally bulletins. This is what happened today in the world of AI, and he's accurate. I've cross-referenced his stuff with IBM, the big players, Google, etc., as well as like Nature magazine and Scientific America. So what he posts really is quite accurate in the AI world. So those are just a few things that you might find valuable.
Well, if there are no other questions, thank you so much, Dr. Robert, for your time. This has been an important, very valuable webinar that I think our alumni found very valuable as well. What will happen now for anybody who's on recall still, I will send out the continuing education certificate for this webinar. So don't reach out to Dr. Robert. She won't know. It'll be me. So I will also send that from my email. So my emails tend to go to your spam. Please, be sure to check that area. I will also send out a survey with that. So if you have any feedback or any ideas on future webinars, please put that in there and we'd be happy to just take a look at that. I'm going to send those results to Dr. Robert. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, Dr. Robert, as well, to present this valuable information. Like I said, I think everybody really found it valuable. So,
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
of course, and if it's okay with you, when I send that email, I'll share the your contact information as well.
Sure, that would be fine. Yeah, that'd be great. All right, everybody, have a great day.
Thank you.
Perfect. Keely actually just had a little question for you, Dr. Robert.
Oh, sure.
Do you have any sample statements to include in a syllabus regarding AI use in a course?
I can send you some. I don't have them on my desktop here, but I can send you some. And when you say statements, I just want to be clear. Are you talking about the breadth of AI in the particular course? Are you talking about a particular technology focus? Just so I send you the right thing.
Is it okay if I talk instead of type it in
Yeah.
the chat?
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That was excellent. So this semester, I'm starting to allow the use of AI in my DNP, the Doctor of Nursing Practice scholarly writing course. And, it needs to be transparent, like they need to cite it, and we use APA style. So there's some guidance on that. So I've seen some prohibitive statements. I've